This happened to two of my friends and I 3 years ago. We were driving from Texas to California, and along the way, we made quite a few stops, not only to get gas, but to eat. And a few times we were so tired we had to stop at a motel to sleep. We tried to save money a couple times and slept in the car at a rest stop. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that sleeping at a rest stop is not the greatest idea, especially since we didn't have a plan or a designated stop in mind. We were too tired to drive in the middle of the night. Driving through Arizona, the rest stop was completely empty. There was nobody there. For the majority of our trip, I drove, and on the occasion I'm speaking about, I was sitting in the driver's seat with both of my friends laying in the back of the truck in sleeping bags. I couldn't sleep. I got out of the truck like 3 times to walk over to the vending machine by the bathrooms. I did, however, fall asleep though. At about 4 a.m., I didn't sleep for long. The Mountain Dew I drank went right through me, and I had to go pee. But before I opened the door to get out, something caught my eye. Standing on the other side of the empty parking lot was a person. I squinted my eyes to see them better, but could only see that it was a man, I was pretty sure, and he was standing with his back facing the highway and forward facing me. I actually did not believe what I was seeing because of how scary it was. This is the kind of thing that you see in scary movies. I remember thinking that as I looked at this person. It didn't take me long to accept that it was real, and I sort of whisper yelled to my friends in the back too. One of my friends made a grunting noise, and the other ignored me. I opened the back window of my truck and whispered louder, telling them to get the hell up. The both of them moved, but didn't sit up. I turned to look at the person once more, and was startled to see that the person had moved closer to my truck. He was now standing in the middle of the parking lot, and now I could see him much more clearly. He was wearing all black and black gloves. He pointed to the field behind my truck in a way like he wanted me to look away from him. I turned over my shoulder again and yelled, "Guys, wake up! Look!" And they both sat up and were now concerned because I had told them to look at something. They looked around and asked what. I turned to face the person again, and he was gone. I looked in the direction of the bathrooms behind me, over in the field, and he was just gone. My friends jumped in the truck after they saw how freaked out I was, and we got the hell out of there.
I was in high school when this incident happened. We all had summer holidays. We were a group of 15 people comprising of my cousins and friends traveling in a tempo traveler. We had covered all our destinations and were planning to visit a new place, which was a hill station, before coming back to our hometown. The route was a very beautiful one, and we all enjoyed thoroughly. And by evening, we reached one tiny village to eat something, as all of us were very hungry, and then continue our journey. This tiny village was located at the foot of a beautiful hill and dense forest covering this hill. This hotel comprised of a wooden plank and a stone slab which did the role of a table and chair, and the walls of the hotel had been probably constructed with mud, and roof was decorated with dried coconut leaves. Mornings, one could enjoy the bright sunshine or the raindrops falling during monsoon, and night, enjoy stargazing. The owner of the hotel was a thin old man whose body was covered by something called a skin. His skeletal structure was clearly visible. He was curious to know where we were headed to at that hour of the day. We told him our final destination, and also we entered into a deep discussion with him about the place that we were planning to visit. He gave us a lot of information about the place we had planned to visit and discouraged us from continuing our journey at that part of the night through that path. He warned us against taking that route and suggested that we spend our night in the village nearby, which was less than a kilometer, and then proceed in the morning. He even told us that nobody dares enter the forest range after dusk. All these statements made us more and more curious, and we decided to continue our journey, much against the advice of the hotel owner and few of the villagers who were present there.
We assured those people that we would take care of ourselves and bid goodbye to them and continued our journey. The hotel owner and the villagers advised us not to stop our vehicle anywhere on the way in the forest, irrespective of the situation, as otherwise it would invite trouble for us. And we agreed and thanked them and left the place. The path was a beautiful one. It was a new moon night, and the sky was so clear that we could see all the stars twinkling in the sky, and all of us were singing, dancing, and sharing jokes and playing games to pass our time through this forest range. It was around midnight when our vehicle had to slow down as the road was a bit rough, and a little ahead, all of us could see an earth mover parked by the side of the road, and little ahead of this vehicle, a blue-color Maruti and a lady in blue dress lying on the road, bleeding profusely from her head. At first, we thought of stopping our vehicle and trying to help the lady, but immediately realized the warning given by the hotel owner and the villagers, so we instructed the driver to continue driving. We had covered hardly 1 kilometer after this. Suddenly, we saw one lone lady in a white sari walking in the middle of the road at a distance. Our driver started honking, but there was no response from this character. It was as though she had completely covered the entire road and walking happily, enjoying her walk. Our driver became restless and started honking continuously for this lady form to give way, but the response was cold. And as our vehicle went closer to this lady, our driver became restless further, and at one point in time, the brakes didn't work and the vehicle was at good speed. He knew something was wrong and told all of us to close our eyes tight so that we would not be seeing the inevitable. When he continued accelerating the vehicle and crossed the woman, all of us felt a strange feeling. The whole vehicle was filled with a cool breeze, and we all started shivering for a minute. After crossing this lady, our driver turned back to see what we were doing, and as expected by him, that woman figure was still crossing the road. With God's grace, we somehow reached our destination with no other incidents happening, and after reaching our destination, all of us had a sound sleep, and we woke up quite late in the morning, and rest of the day we spent enjoying the beauty of Mother Nature, and in the evening, we all enjoyed the sun setting in the hills, which was a breathtaking view. And next day morning, we all got up to view the sunrise, which we had missed the previous day, enjoyed the sunrise, and after eating our breakfast, we left for our hometown.
It was in August 2014. I was riding to the treacherous valleys of Lahal Spiti in a group formation totaling 8 bikers. It was the 3rd day of the 15 days ride, and we all had entered Manali after a day-long ride. Our bodies were shouting for some rest, as we were on the road since morning. From tomorrow, we were going to transverse the rocky, untread pathways of the mountains, and we were going to be away from the civilization for the whole day long until we reached our destination for the night each day of ride. Also, it was our first ever ride to the inaccessible reaches of the Himalayas. As we entered the city limits of Manali, we spotted an ATM, and all of us decided to withdraw cash for the expenses in the following days of ride. All guys parked our fully loaded bikes by the roadside and visited the ATM. I too followed suit, leaving my bike keys behind, feeling secure as a couple of my friends were standing right beside my bike. Having completed the transaction, as all ride mates kicked their bikes to life, I could not find my keys. It was dark already, and we were in an unknown place, dead tired, with a fully loaded bike without keys. We all ran helter-skelter, looking for the keys. I searched my scores of pockets, but in vain. After about 10-20 minutes of monkeying around, the truth dawned on me. Some miscreant had made away with the keys from the parked bike, with no care for the big trouble he pushed me into, just for a meaningless jest. Suddenly, I was reminded of a spare set of keys in the waist pouch. I searched and found the keys, but until the time I recollected the presence of the spare keys, I was perturbed and scared. To this day, I question the motivation of the miscreant to put someone into that kind of unwanted trouble.